What's the worst thing to say to a girl before going down on her? Jesus, what do you feed this thing? Okay, but I'm leaving my mask on. A friend told me that during a one-night stand a guy started to make his way downwards, and when she asked him not to, explaining that she doesn't like it, he said, "You don't understand though. I play the trumpet." Talk about a blowhard. Edit, spelling. Looks like someone didn't wipe well enough. Single quote. I am about to throw up. True story. It's a nice summer Friday and I decide to take my wife on a date to a nice restaurant. I ordered grilled chicken and a rack of ribs. I take one bite of the chicken and it's not properly cooked. The waiter apologizes and sends it back to the kitchen. The chicken comes back cooked and we continue to eat and drink. We get home and it's time to do the nasty, except my stomach feels like I'm on a roller coaster. Whatever, I'll deal with that later. I thought it was going to be an amazing session. I could tell. I give my wife one lick down there and it was in that moment I knew my night was ruined. I got up and told my wife my now infamous words. The look on her face was that of horror and embarrassment. I proceeded to try to say, "It's not you. I swear," but I was violently throwing up by mid-sentence. I was sick for the next 4 days. Fuck you, Red Canyon Grill. The first time my boyfriend went down on me we were both ridiculously drunk. Then when he were cuddling afterwards he suddenly bolted for the bathroom and threw up for like 20 minutes and I was like, OMG, I've poisoned him with my vagina, and we still laugh about it now. Get down there. Hesitate. Come back up. Open your mouth to say something but then retract the first sound that comes out of your mouth. Then go back down. Steve Irwin voice. Ah crikey. Look at the size of this one. Now, what I'm gonna do is carefully sneak up on him and jam my thumb in his butthole. Don't worry, I took my bee pollen and meditated on my healing crystal today. So you won't get my herpes. Single quote. My ex once was about to do it. His phone vibrated so he checked it. Oh, I just got a Tinder match, and then left me hanging to do some swiping instead. Ma'am, can you scoot down and put your feet in the stirrups? My boyfriend said, finally I'm fucking parched, and it took me like 10 minutes to stop laughing enough to consent. An old classic, It's Fucking Raw, Tilda Gordon Ramsay. Had a boyfriend who said, "You're lucky I'm doing this for you." Most men would be too repulsed by the fact that you don't shave. Before we start, I would like to thank our sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Single quote. Practicing safe sex is very important. Almost as important as practicing safe web browsing. Which is why this video is sponsored by NordVPN. One-way ticket to Flavor Town. You whisper as your flamed shirt flaps behind you. I don't want to. It doesn't smell right. The sad part is I've actually said this. This is what actually turned me off from ever going down on a girl. It's hard to when you have had 4 scarring incidents in your life. Majority of it happening when I was 17 to 18. Different girls. 1. Smelled awful. I threw up in the back of my mouth and she called me a pussy for not wanting to. 2. She had some cheese pieces over her lips and the smell was awful. Problem that killed me was that she was a hottie. 18 and all. But to be that bad. I was egged on because everyone thought I was lucky to have dated her. 3. A little diarrhea on the chin doesn't hurt, am I right guys? 4. Pissed in my face for her humor. Had to drive home pissed on, pissed off. Not have had a good experience at all. Itadakimasu. Said this to my ex. She'd studied Japanese at university, and she nearly crushed my skull when she clenched her thighs from laughing. So, not before, but during. When I was like 19, I was dating this girl who worked at McDonald's. She just got off work, and was hesitant to bang cause she was all greasy and gross. I smell like French fries, but she changed her mind, and as I was going down on her, I thought it would be hilarious to say, "Wow, you're right. You do taste like French fries." It was not. She just stopped me dead in my tracks. Welp. We're done here, thanks. Then she put her clothes back on and that was that. A friend of mine hooked up with a girl who, for some reason and for a period of months, was convinced he was Jewish. He isn't. She kept mentioning how she'd always liked dating Jewish guys. How she found circumcised dicks attractive. We're in the UK, so it's not as common. He's not cut, and basically doing everything she could to let him know that she was super open to the idea of fucking him. Except, he wasn't actually Jewish. Eventually he pointed this out to her. She was slightly embarrassed, and they laughed it off and decided to go out for a drink. All's well that ends well. As he tells the story, the first time they got together and he was about to start going down on her, he looked her dead in the eyes and said, with a perfectly straight face, "Is this kosher?" There was, by all accounts, no second date. Edit. You guys are really eager to paint her as the bad guy in all this. Considering that he did in fact end up having sex with her and B. My friend always was kind of an asshole. It's perfectly plausible that there was some other reason why she didn't want to see him again, and this is just the version of events he told his friends to save a little bit of face. Maybe we can just say it's a funny line without ripping into her for being a humorless bitch. I was 17 and I didn't know that every vagina is different. My exes looked a little different than the first one I saw. When she took off her pants, I said to her, "What the fuck is that?" It was that moment I realized she was super self-conscious about her labia minora. She freaked out, covered herself up and asked what was wrong. I said to her, "Haha, just kidding. You know how I always joke around. Nothing's wrong." She sighed with relief and I went about my business. Don't be an idiot like me. If I blow air up your vagina, do you think you'll fart? Edit. A lot of people are taking this comment far too seriously. I can't believe I'm having to say this, but this was quite clearly a joke. No, I'm not giving you the all clear to blow air up your sexual partner's vagina to see if she will fart. Also, unless you're a medical professional, for the love of God, stop making assumptions with lack of sources and research. Can we all just laugh and move on now? Ever thought about sprinkling some sand down here so your crabs can feel at home? How dare you say that to a classy lady like me? They're lobster. Single quote. I do know about the worst, but I always think about a friend who told me about a guy who, prior to going down, looked her right in the eye and very seriously said, "Hey there, mama, said the way you move. Gonna make you sweat. Gonna make you groove." He left when she couldn't quit laughing. Edit. Typos. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button. See you next time.